Summary: Emotional Intelligence. Daniel Goleman. How to master your emotions and achieve success in life. Imagine a person with a sky-high IQ, someone capable of solving complex calculations, understanding difficult theories, and speaking with near-perfect precision, but who easily loses control, destroys relationships, and makes impulsive decisions that ruin everything they've built. Daniel Goleman revealed that this person might be intellectually brilliant, but emotionally illiterate, and this is precisely what separates those who merely dream from those who truly succeed in life. The author asserts that IQ is not the main factor defining success, but rather the ability to handle one's own emotions and understand the emotions of others. This is the essence of emotional intelligence, a set of skills that determines how we face challenges, react to conflicts, and forge genuine connections. Emotional intelligence is built upon 5 fundamental pillars: self-awareness, self-regulation, emotional control, motivation, empathy, and social skills. The first, self-awareness, is the foundation of everything. Knowing what we feel and why we feel it makes us more conscious of the decisions we make. Because when we recognize our emotions the moment they arise, we gain power over them. Without self-awareness, emotions dominate reasoning, and it is at this instant that people act without thinking, say things they regret, or make destructive decisions. The second pillar is emotional control, or self-regulation, the ability to manage one's feelings even while under pressure. Goleman shows that those who master this skill can quickly bounce back from losses, frustrations, or rejections, because they understand that emotions are fleeting. When you learn to take a deep breath before reacting, the brain has time to reduce the intensity of anger, and the body moves from a state of alert to a state of calm. Instead of being carried away by impulse, you take command. This is one of the greatest differences between ordinary people and true leaders. Motivation is the third pillar, representing the inner drive that maintains focus on goals, even when everything seems to be falling apart. Emotionally intelligent people do not rely only on external rewards. They possess an internal flame that compels them to continue. They know that the path to success is full of obstacles, but they also know that every overcome obstacle increases their strength and confidence. This self-motivation is what separates those who quit early from those who achieve extraordinary results. The fourth pillar is empathy, the capacity to recognize and understand the emotions of others. It is what transforms communication into connection. When you feel what the other person feels, your presence becomes therapeutic, because you cease to react only to what you see and begin to respond to what the other person is truly experiencing. Empathic people stand out in any environment, as they are perceived as natural leaders, inspiring teachers, reliable salespeople, and companions who genuinely listen. The fifth pillar is social skills, the set of competencies that allows one to navigate human interactions with ease. This includes how we handle criticism, conflict, praise, and feedback. Goleman explains that knowing how to criticize correctly is an art. Criticism delivered with empathy, which points out a problem but offers a path for improvement, motivates, and strengthens the relationship. Conversely, harsh criticism, laden with anger, destroys trust and paralyzes growth. The difference is not just in the words, but in the intention behind them. One of the most powerful concepts in the book is emotional contagion, the idea that emotions spread like a virus. If one person enters a room in a bad mood, the atmosphere quickly becomes heavy. But if someone enters smiling and full of energy, everyone's mood is elevated. This explains why inspirational leaders like Tony Robbins can change the emotional state of thousands of people simply through the force of their presence. The body speaks, the energy vibrates, and the audience feels it. Emotional intelligence is, therefore, the ability to manage not just one's own emotions, but also the collective emotion. Another essential point is the control of anger and sadness. Goleman describes that venting, yelling, or exploding does not actually relieve anger. It only prolongs it because it reinforces the negative emotional circuit in the brain. True self-control is born when we take a deep breath, step back, and choose a smarter response. The same applies to sadness. Dwelling on the problem deepens it further, while shifting focus and engaging in something positive helps to rebalance the emotional state. A simple act of empathy, or a walk outdoors, can completely transform one's mood. When we understand this, we realize that emotional intelligence is the bridge between thought and action. It defines not just what we feel, but also what we do with what we feel. It is what allows us to transform frustration into learning, anger into assertiveness, sadness into reflection, and fear into courage. People with high emotional intelligence are more stable, form deeper bonds, and are capable of facing challenges without losing their internal control. True intelligence is not about knowing more, but about feeling better. It lies in mastering one's inner world before attempting to control the outer world. As Goleman says, knowing what we feel the moment we feel it is the beginning of wisdom. Emotional intelligence is the silent compass that guides all our decisions, relationships, and achievements. In the end, success belongs not to the most intelligent, but to the most balanced. The one who transforms emotion into wisdom and impulse into purpose. Many people believe that success comes only from rational effort, logical intelligence, and rigid discipline. But science shows that the emotional mind holds far greater power over human behavior than we imagine. Emotion is what drives all decisions, even those that appear purely rational. This is why brilliant people sometimes take destructive and impulsive actions, while others, seemingly ordinary, achieve extraordinary levels of success and influence. The secret lies in how they relate to their own inner world. Daniel Goleman explains that the human brain is divided between two main forces, the rational and the emotional. The rational part is logical, analytical, and slow, while the emotional part is instinctive, fast, and powerful. When the emotional brain takes control, it can cause us to react before we even think. This mechanism was essential in prehistoric times, when we needed to react quickly to physical dangers. But in the modern world, this same response can become destructive. A misinterpreted email, a sudden argument, or wrongly received criticism can trigger the emotional brain and provoke exaggerated reactions. Therefore, true mastery lies in balancing the two parts. Emotion must be felt, but guided by reason. Reason must be used, but illuminated by emotion. When emotion completely dominates, chaos sets in. When reason ignores emotion, emptiness is born. The balance between both is the power point of emotional intelligence, and reaching this point requires awareness, patience, and practice. Goleman describes a phenomenon called emotional hijacking, where the limbic brain reacts so quickly that the rational part is temporarily shut off. This is the moment when someone says or does something and, seconds later, deeply regrets it. Everyone has experienced this to some degree. The secret lies in recognizing the warning signs before the hijacking occurs. When the body heats up, the heart races, and breathing shortens, it's a signal that emotion is about to take control. Taking a deep breath, changing focus, and pausing for a few seconds is enough to allow the rational brain to re-engage. This simple ability can save careers, relationships, and important decisions. Another essential concept in the book is motivation, the power to stay focused on goals even in the face of obstacles and failures. Emotionally intelligent people don't wait for the perfect moment to act. They create the moment. They turn every setback into learning and every pain into fuel. Instead of seeking immediate rewards, they understand the value of constant progress. What differentiates someone who achieves success from those who fall along the way is not talent, but the ability to remain emotionally stable when everything seems to be going wrong. Goleman also teaches that empathy is not just about understanding the other person, but about feeling with them. Deep empathy makes us aware of the impact we have on those around us. An empathetic leader is one who perceives when someone is demotivated before it turns into a major problem. An empathetic friend is one who knows when the other person's silence is a request for help. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is refined emotional strength. Social skills, in turn, are the external reflection of emotional intelligence. They are what transform empathy into action and understanding into results. Knowing how to listen, communicate clearly, and inspire trust are characteristics that expand personal influence. Leaders with high emotional intelligence lead not through fear, but through respect and connection. They awaken the best in people because they create an emotionally safe environment where mistakes lead to learning and progress is collective. Another fascinating point Goleman addresses is the contagiousness of emotions. Our emotions are transmissible even without words. Posture, tone of voice, and facial expression influence the mood of everyone around us. This is why leaders and communicators play such a powerful role. Their emotions define the climate of an entire group. When someone transmits calm amidst chaos, everyone stabilizes. When they transmit enthusiasm, everyone is motivated. When they spread pessimism, everyone deflates. Learning to manage one's own emotional state is, therefore, an indirect form of leading others. Emotional intelligence is not learned overnight. but it can be developed with constant practice. Everything begins with awareness. Observing emotions as if we were watching an inner movie allows us to understand them without being dominated by them. Then comes self-control, which is the art of transforming impulse into choice. Finally, emotional mastery emerges when we can act coherently with our values, even under strong pressure. This is the essence of true emotional balance, feeling deeply but reacting wisely. The journey of emotional intelligence is a path of self-mastery and human growth. It teaches us that success is not about controlling the world around us, but about controlling the world within us. The more we master our emotions, the freer we become, because we cease to be victims of circumstance and become the authors of our responses. With every conscious choice, every deep breath we take before reacting, we move closer to our best selves. A person's true strength is not in how many problems they avoid, but in how they react when problems arise. Emotional intelligence determines whether a difficult situation will turn into growth or ruin. Daniel Goleman shows that emotionally intelligent people are not those who never feel anger, fear, or sadness, but rather those who know how to understand these emotions, extract a lesson from them, and move forward stronger. This is the point where theory turns into practice, where emotional control becomes an instrument of self-mastery and personal evolution. One of the book's most powerful lessons is that expressing anger explosively does not alleviate suffering. It amplifies it. When someone vents their anger on another person, the emotional brain intensifies the sensation, prolonging the state of irritation. The momentary relief is followed by guilt, remorse, and exhaustion. The smarter path is the opposite, learning to recognize the trigger of anger, breathing, stepping back, and reinterpreting the situation. Goleman shows that this process activates regions of the brain responsible for self-awareness and reduces the dominance of the limbic system. The result is a state of balance and mental clarity, where the person still feels, but is not enslaved by the feeling. The same logic applies to sadness. Remaining trapped in negative thoughts reinforces the neural circuit of emotional pain, making it more persistent. The solution is not to deny what you feel, but to change the focus of attention. Engaging in a physical, creative, or social activity helps the brain break the rumination cycle and regain balance. Small actions, such as walking outdoors, listening to positive music, or helping someone, are enough to reprogram the emotional state. When the body moves, the mind follows. Another central point for Goleman is active empathy, which goes beyond merely understanding the other. It is the willingness to feel what the other person feels and act to improve their state. This is what happens when a leader notices the anguish of their team and changes the tone of the conversation, or when a friend offers silent support at the right time. True empathy is the invisible link that unites people and creates an environment of trust. It is the fuel for lasting relationships and authentic human connections. The author also highlights the power of constructive criticism as a tool for growth. Criticizing without empathy destroys, but criticizing with empathy builds up. The way a message is delivered can transform an error into an opportunity for learning. Saying, "You are wrong," closes doors, while saying, "There is a better way to do this," opens paths. Emotional intelligence manifests in every chosen word, every tone of voice, and every respectful silence. It is the balance between firmness and compassion that makes a person truly influential. Another striking concept is emotional contagion. Emotions spread like waves. A calm person amidst chaos can change the atmosphere of an entire room. Similarly, an irritated individual can turn a harmonious environment into a field of tension. Goleman shows that emotionally intelligent leaders are aware of this invisible power and use it responsibly. They maintain serenity so that others find security and motivation. This is leadership that inspires not only through authority, but through presence. Emotional intelligence is, therefore, the foundation for all other forms of intelligence. It is what sustains practical wisdom, self-control, and discernment. A person can be technically brilliant, but if they don't know how to handle their own emotions, they will fail at critical moments. The reverse is also true. Someone ordinary but emotionally stable can excel and achieve extraordinary results. The secret lies in the ability to transform emotion into intelligent action. At the heart of Goleman's teaching is a simple and profound truth. Emotions are messengers, not enemies. They show us what we value, what we fear, what we desire. Ignoring them is squandering the map that guides our most authentic choices. The challenge is not to eliminate emotions, but to learn to dance with them, to recognize when to lead and when to follow. Self-control is not repression, It is mastery. It is the capacity to choose the right response when impulse screams for reaction. In the end, what truly differentiates successful people is not IQ, luck, or talent, but the quality of their emotions. Those who understand their own inner world learn to understand the outer world. Those who master their own emotions master their own destiny. Emotional intelligence is the silent power that transforms failures into wisdom, conflicts into growth, and pain into strength. Therefore, Goleman concludes that true success is not just about achieving external goals, but about conquering oneself. The emotional mind is the mirror of the soul, and the clearer it becomes, the more lucid life is. Mastering emotions is, in essence, the supreme art of living.